India claims to be the fastest growing major economy. The government says GDP is rising, India is becoming a global powerhouse, and the country is on its way to becoming a $5 trillion economy. But behind the slogans, the reality looks very different. Unemployment is at record highs, inflation is crushing the middle class, rural demand is falling, inequality is rising, manufacturing is declining, and foreign investors are turning cautious. Today, we break down the truth behind India's slowing economic activity and how Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government is directly responsible for this economic decline. Let's start with what's happening right now. Several indicators clearly show that India's economy is losing momentum. So yes, India has GDP growth on paper, but on the ground, the economy is slowing down. Now let's understand why these negative trends are appearing. But here's the key question. Are global factors the main cause of India's slowdown? No. The roots of the problem lie inside India's economic policy decisions. Let's now break down how Narendra Modi's government directly contributed to this decline. In 2016, overnight, 86% of India's cash was wiped out. The informal economy, which employs more than 80% of the workforce, collapsed. Small businesses shut down, workers lost jobs, supply chains were disrupted. Economists globally call this one of the biggest economic self-goals in world history. And even today, India has not fully recovered from that shock. GST was supposed to simplify taxes, but the way it was implemented turned it into a nightmare. Multiple slabs, excessive paperwork, frequent rule changes, delayed refunds, small businesses struggled, many shut down or downsized. This weakened India's job creation engine. Modi's model concentrates wealth in a few large corporations. Corporate tax rates were slashed by 1.45 lakh crore, benefiting big companies, not small ones. This led to monopolies in telecom, retail, infrastructure, collapse of smaller competitors, weakening of overall economic diversity. When an economy depends on a handful of powerful industrial groups, it becomes fragile and unequal. Fuel prices remained high even when global prices fell. Excise duties were kept high for revenue. This pushed inflation up, squeezing middle class households and slowing consumption. Despite a decade of promises, manufacturing has not grown as expected. India even withdrew from RCEP, the world's most crucial trade bloc, leaving the door open for competitors like Vietnam and Indonesia to attract global supply chains. In Modi's system, most decisions flow from one office, the PMO. This creates rushed policies, lack of expert input, bureaucratic fear, inconsistent regulation. Economic policies need experimentation, discussion, and careful planning, which is missing. Let's look at how the world views India's economic direction. Let's address the core question. Why has Modi failed to stop India's economic decline? India's economy is not collapsing, but it is slowing. And this slowdown is not accidental, it is the result of political decisions. Modi's government made choices that damaged small businesses, weakened job creation, increased inequality, discouraged investors, and centralized economic power. India has immense potential, but without course correction, without honest economic policy making, without strengthening institutions, the country risks falling into long-term stagnation. If India wants sustainable growth, it needs more than speeches and slogans. It needs a government that listens, plans, and reforms, not one that centralizes, controls, and suppresses criticism. The question now is simple. Will India change direction or continue down this risky economic path?